Uh, yes, I am Vijay Kumar Thullam. I head the natural farming program. We call it Andhra Pradesh Community Managed Natural Farming. And we have multiple objectives: farmers' prosperity, better health for citizens, climate resilience, and cooling of the planet. So we don't believe in trade offs. We think all of them can be achieved if we mimic the processes found in nature. So our vision is that by 2035, we should be able to transition all 6 million farmer households in Andhra Pradesh and 2 million landless farm worker households in Andhra Pradesh. This is the state of Andhra Pradesh. As you can see, we have a very long coastline, about 1,000 kilometers length, but we also have a very large portion of the state which is semi-arid. So we have extreme weather conditions. So one place where we don't get rainfall, other places where we get too much rainfall in a very time. State has a population of 53 million. And this is the India map, and we are south of India, as you can see. Now, as against 6 million farmers, where are we today? So we started the program in 2016 with 40,000 farmers in about 700 villages. And today we have reached 1 million farmers. We have a footprint in 30% villages. So we have covered 17% farmers and 8% of the area, and about 350,000 landless farm workers. So overall, 1.4 million farmers are in the transition phase. And please remember, India, vast majority of the farmers are small farmers. 86% are less than 1 hectare per capita. So it's a very different context from Netherlands. And we have some conditions that we put on ourselves, that we acknowledge that a farmer to change from chemical agriculture to natural farming takes 3 to 5 years. So we support a farmer throughout the journey, but we don't pay any cash incentives during the transition. We also don't pay any compensation for loss of yield, and we also don't promise any market premium after transition. So farmers have to see benefits during transition for them to continue in the program. And we are, successful because the program has scaled up 25 times in just 8 years, and it'll take another 7 or 8 years to reach all the farmers, and another 10, 12 years to complete the transformation. And then our idea is to take the whole village and all farmers and all farms, because every farmer may have 1, 2, 3 plots of land. So they try in one plot, and then if they are successful, they take it forward. So this is the context, that we have small marginal farmers. 1 hectare per capita is the land holding. We have a state with extreme weather events, semi-arid rain-fed land, and then other portion which is hit by cyclones and very heavy rainfall condition. So, and we have put a condition on ourselves that we should not offer any artificial or external inducements to farmers to make the change. So we made things tough for ourselves. And so what is natural farming? There are multiple names: regenerative agriculture, agroecology. We use the word natural farming because in India this is very popular. And we believe that this kind of farming in harmony with nature is a solution for the multiple emergencies we are facing. It's essentially a land management practice that leverages the power of photosynthesis in plants to close the carbon cycle, build soil health, crop resilience, and nutrient density. So there are multiple benefits coming from mimicking nature. And so, even though it is based on modern science, it is very much rooted in Indian tradition and culture because we take a holistic view of sunlight, air, water, plants, animals, soils, minerals or nutrients, and microbes in the soil, plants, and animals. And this 9 years journey has been very turbulent because we have been facing a lot of backlash from the mainstream science, mainstream agriculture, which believes in chemicals. So I just want to say at the very outset that natural farming is not the same as traditional agriculture, which our grandparents used to practice. And typically in the traditional agriculture, farmers would apply 10 to 12 metric tons of organic inputs. Could be cow dung, crop residue, but it would be around 10, 12 metric tons. Whereas in our case, in our natural farming, we do not need more than 5% of that. We hardly use 500 to 600 kilograms per acre, not as fertilizers. They are biological substances to stimulate soil biology. So no fertilizers, no external nutrients whatsoever, either from organic route or a synthetic route. And of course, this is very much familiar to all of you, but I'll just quickly go through it. So in the photosynthesis process, of the food produced by the plant, combining CO2 and water, 40% is stored in the shoot system. That's the above ground biomass. 30% is stored in the roots, but 30% is exuded in the soils. And this is the food for the microbes which take this food and make all other nutrients in the soil, in the air, water, bioavailable to the plants. So we are saying there is no need to add even 1 gram of fertilizer. If the soil biology is activated, then the plants get the nutrients they want in the right quantity and at the right time. So, and it's a loss of nature, nothing to do with the human beings. That's how things have been even before human beings arrived. And so through activating soil biology, we are developing a efficient nutrient absorption mechanism. But there's one more thing happening below the ground, that the bacteria are also good engineers. The microbes are also good engineers. So they're also creating soil structure. So we have an increase in soil porosity, there's greater water holding, and also soil carbon sequestration happening. So as you can see, if you have good soil structure, you have better water infiltration, more water holding. And the third is a very, very unique phenomenon that we discovered while doing our work, inspired by an Australian scientist, Walter Yana. So that our plants grown through regenerative agriculture, were actually harnessing water from the air. And so based on this, we arrived at what we call as universal principles of natural farming. And the first one is to have a 365 days green cover, which we call as the living root principle. So only if you have a living plant, then are you feeding the soil, which in turn is providing nutrients to the plant. The second is the crop diversity is absolutely critical. The greater the soil crop diversity, the better for multiple reasons. We find that greater the crop diversity, farmers get incomes throughout the year. Greater crop diversity, pest management happens automatically. Greater crop diversity, the root exudation increases, the diversity of microbes in the soil increases, and therefore all the plants are able to get all the nutrients, 40, 50, 60 nutrients that they require at the right time and right quantities. And then it provides an insurance to farmers. If there is heavy rain, some crops may die, but others may survive. If there's a dry spell, again, some crops may die, but others may thrive. So diverse cropping is a very, very important principle. And I'm really very impressed. And, I must congratulate Wopke and your entire his team that you have chosen, in my opinion, the most critical factor in climate change resilience, and that is diverse crops. Then we have a third principle of keeping the soil covered with crop residues whenever living plants are not there. So we believe that sunlight should not hit the soil, should not hit bare soil. So sunlight hitting bare soil is oxidizing the soil, but sunlight hitting a living plant is getting converted into food. So that's a very simple equation. 1 acre of land. What is happening to sunlight? Is it being harvested efficiently or is it being wasted? The fourth principle, which is relevant for the soil structure, is to minimize disturbance of soil. That means minimize tillage. The fifth is, we encourage farmers to use their own seeds, and that used to be, it's an indigenous practice. We are trying to revive that practice and also use the indigenous seeds. Because what we are learning now from the work of, University James White is the seeds are also having their own core microbiome. So we need to respect that. If it is biologically farmed, then the seeds will be rich in microbiome. The sixth principle is integrating animals into farming, which brings about the circularity. Then seventh is we use biostimulants, not as fertilizers, but as catalysts to trigger soil biology. And then pest management happens through better agronomical practices, essentially better crop diversity and botanical pesticides. And the ninth, I put in red letters, no synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, or weedicides. So I believe that these principles are universal, but in terms of application, it's highly context specific, specific to the socio-cultural practices, the willingness of the farmers to practice this. And also one good thing in our case is this are all do it yourself. They don't have to depend on a supply chain for this. So as you can see, entire thing rests on maximization of photosynthesis over each farm plot. Then taking care of the soil. Then there is the seed element. And then what is special about us and why the transition is not a painful phenomenon for us is we have biostimulants for biological activation at every stage of the plant growth. So that starts with seed treatment, soil amendment, plant growth. So you can see here, this is one which is microbial seed coating. I'm sharing this slide because I can't go over the details of this, but it's like fermented cow dung and then added cow urine, etc., and which is being sprinkled over the seeds. And this good microbial coating gives it a very good start. And this is soil amendment to be used along again cow dung, cow urine, uh, jaggery or sugar, lentil flour, and a bit of uncontaminated soil. So this basically to enhance the microbial content in the patties that you can see here. These are powdered and put into the soil along with the seed. This again gives a very good start for the plants to germinate and be strong. And then we have a liquid inoculum made from biological ingredients, cow dung, cow urine, etc., fermented for 7 to 8 days. So this is applied after germination. This is a foliar application and also application to the root zone. This again stimulates plant growth. And when plants reach a flowering stage, then we have tonics. egg amino acid, fish amino acid, panchakavya. We have number of tonics which promote better flowering, fruiting, uh, seed setting, etc. So, and this is pest management to be, as a, if other measures don't work, so these are botanical pesticides, but slowly we are finding that once you have crop diversity, we don't even need to apply any kind of pesticide. This is a new phenomenon. We still haven't understood the science fully, but we're running with it because there are rivers of water in the air. In tropical countries, water in the air is up to 50,000 parts per million, which is, equivalent to 10 times the water in the rivers. And natural farming is imbuing a certain quality to the plants to be able to harness this water. And this is Walter Yana who visited us in November 2019. And he observed this crop is totally rain fed and there was no irrigation given. And that year was a very bad year. So, in spite of this, we see this kind of crops, and you can also observe the crop diversity. And I may not have time to play a video. Okay, if there is time, the class can watch afterwards because we lost some time in setting up the presentation. So forgive me for that. Yeah. So
Vijay, how long is it? Maybe we can have it.
Few minutes. Can you play from there? Is it possible?
We cannot play the link.
Okay.
Your
Because this Microsoft meetings is the first time I'm actually running a presentation on this. So I tried playing a video and all that, but it didn't work. So I would I'll send it to you by mail if you have time. But this is just to show the kind of incredible crop diversity which is enabling the plants A to conserve water and also harness water from the air. And this is a very good research question for Wageningen as to in semi-arid, dry conditions, how can we grow crops?
Yes.
Okay, I hope you agree with me because that's the one which can save the world.
I agree with you. I think one of the nice things about your work is you're applying things where actually we don't fully understand the principles. We have hypotheses maybe, but it needs study. I agree with you.
Yes. So starting with 11, okay, starting with just experimenting with 11 people, we have taken this pre-monsoon dry sowing. That means we sow under dry conditions. We don't wait for the monsoons. And that gives about 30, 60 days of green cover during the, March to June before the monsoon. And that adds tremendously to the soil fertility. And this is a very important part of that, and that is seed pelleting. So we pellet the seed with bioinoculum, clay powder, and this is to enable dry sowing. So even under March, April, when it's very hot and the soil is totally dry, so we do sowing of the seed at that time, so that even 5 mm of rainfall, because we do get that kind of rainfall in the pre-monsoon period, the germination happens, and after germination, the plants, are still surviving, even if there's no regular rainfall. And with very little rainfall, they gain vigor. So now this is what I want to tell you that how crop diversity, understanding crop diversity is enabling us to multiply farmers' incomes in the face of climate adversity. So we call this as A grade models, and still, we are innovating. Last 3 years, we have been doing this work. So in the same plot of land, along with one major crop, there are 4 to 6 associated crops and around 25 biodiversity crops. But these are in very small quantities, just 5% of the seed weight of the associated crops. So the idea is to maintain crop diversity throughout the year through relay sowing. When one crop is harvested, we again sow another crop. So this leads to higher land equivalent ratios and higher cropping intensity. And when there is no soil moisture under dry conditions, the relay sowing happens through sowing pelleted seeds. So we have 8 major agriculture crops in in Andhra Pradesh and 5, 6 major horticulture crops. So we have developed protocols for all these crops, and we now have more than 10,000 farmers who are practicing it. And we hope to take that number to 100,000 in the next 5 years. And these farmers are deriving 2 to 3 times the incomes of conventional farmers. And more important, they are able to get all the diverse food crops for their own consumption. This is a cotton model. And as you can see here, within cotton, we have cowpea, which is a pulse crop. We have pearl millet, a cereal crop, cluster bean, another pulse crop, green gram, pulse crop, okra, and castor and oilseed. And the seed rate, the seed rate is actually the same as if it is 1 acre of cowpea, 1 acre of pearl millet, 1 acre of cluster bean. So we are not compromising on the seed density. And so we arrive at crop geometry for each major crop and also the seed rate. So it's as if the farmer is having 5 acres of land, because each one has the same seed rate if it were being sown as a monocrop. And this is the fascinating part of it. All the crops are thriving and they're helping each other. And more important is they're able to withstand dry spells, withstand heavy rain conditions, and then farmers are getting incomes throughout the year rather than waiting for 150 days or 160 days for the cotton crop alone. So you can see here the cotton crop with multiple crops here. We in this itself we have 5 feet spacing, and then there are these intercrops. And actually, cotton crop has become a perennial crop. Then this is in banana. So for actually up to 6 months, first 6 months, we take a variety of crops. As you can see here, there are the pulse crops and marigold and few other vegetables. So first 6 months, the farmer can take money, and then she or he uses that crop residue as a mulch to reduce the evaporation losses. So therefore, she or he recovers the entire cost of cultivation from the first 6 months intercrops. And more important, farmers are reporting that their banana yields have gone up by 15-25%. And the taste of bananas, they're saying, is much superior compared to if it was taken as a monocrop. Then this is a women farmer. She's using it, we call it A grade model in groundnut field. Again, groundnut field is mixed with millets, red gram, castor, field beans. So 4 to 5 crops. And this rain fed. And in spite of extreme weather conditions, she gets very good harvest. Then we have a model it's called ATM model, anytime money. uh, yeah, more reliable than the bank. So on 800 square meters, we have these beds with a width of 4 feet. And then we have leafy vegetables, tubers, other vegetables. On the borders, we have moringa, mango, banana, papaya, depending on the farmer. And then in the middle, there's a cereal crop. So just after 15 days, the farmer starts getting leafy vegetables. Then radish comes in 30 days. So like that, and anytime they harvest a crop, they also sow seed. So through this relay sowing, they're able to get incomes throughout the year. And you can see they also apply it in mango orchards. So, and wherever they have applied this in the mango orchard, the yield of the mango trees has gone up because of the crop diversity between the mango trees. So this is an extraordinary farmer, and he's one of our source of inspiration because of his innovations. Then on paddy field, and you know, paddy is a monocrop, rice, and 30% of our crop area is basically paddy. And so what do you do in paddy? So we advise the farmers to widen the bunds. As you can see, she's sitting on the boundary. So normally it's only 1.5 feet. Now we have advised them to take it from 1.5 feet to 3 feet or 6 feet, and then raise 15, 20 different vegetable crops. And also some are doing plantations. They're also doing, as you can see, she is taking up papaya and banana there. Some people take moringa, and then green leafy vegetables, creepers. You know, they get very good gourds and other vegetables if they put the stakes on the bunds. So where they used to get only one crop, and if that crop failed, then the entire money was lost. Now, and also paddy, long duration paddy takes about 150 days. Others also take 120, 125, 120, 130 days. So farmers have to have no source of income for 4 months. But in farmers adopting these models, they're able to get money from 15 days itself. So it's enabling them to meet their cost of cultivation. So, and you can see here she's got a banana, then papaya. Then we have extended this model for drought proofing. Last year there was a El Nino phenomenon, and the sowing didn't happen. Vast extents of land, and that's where one of our officers innovated this drought proofing model. So here there's no ploughing involved. At every 3 feet, there's a circumference of 1 feet. Earth is scooped. There's no ploughing, and then with the bioinoculum, we sow about 5 kinds of seeds, and each one is chosen for a certain purpose, and all of them are drought resilient crops. So red gram or pigeon pea goes very deep and is able to break the hard pan. Another crop, field crop, is spreads very well and becomes a perennial crop. Pearl millet again grows very tall and shelters other crops from sunlight. Castor is a trap crop, cluster bean. So the choice of seeds is very important. And as you can see here, the way they've germinated in very poor quality soils, and also soils where there's no irrigation. And this lady was the only farmer in that village who got some income from her rain-fed land. All others had given up. There was no sowing of any crop. And of course, they discouraged her, told her that she was foolish to do this kind of work. And we have a lot of collaborations. I hope with WOPK's help, we can also add Wageningen here. I would love to have, Wageningen and you people join hands with us. And in terms of, I'll now rush through it because I realize that we're running out of time. But economic impacts are highly favorable. So that's why we don't offer any incentive for farmers to change. So they're seeing a higher yields, lower costs, greater resilience, greater biodiversity in their farms. You can see birds' nests in their fields, earthworms, and the best part is very little water. We are able to show savings of around 50%, up to 50% for the major crops. And again, this is something which is really miraculous. This There's a cyclone last year, and we lost rice in about 200,000 hectares of land. Farmers, just before it was harvested, about 1 month before harvest, they lost their crop. But the fields of natural farming farmers intact. As you can see, just there's only one boundary separating. Same soil, same variety of seed, and same date of transplantation. The field on the right, a natural farming plot was intact, and the chemical plot completely destroyed. Again, there's a video I just can't play now. Then we are using this crop diversity and natural farming methods to restore desert areas, and there's less pest attack. And this is what we do for landless poor. We promote homestead gardens so that the household food and nutrition security is maintained. And I won't spend much time, but in terms of scaling up, because knowledge is there and we are continuously innovating, but how does the knowledge reach the farmers and how does it lead to behavior change? Because that's the most important part of my work, is to grow the knowledge but take it to farmers. And even if at times we don't have complete understanding of what we are doing, as long as it's beneficial, doesn't do any harm, and we go ahead, and research also proceeds. But this is essentially because of our women collectives. So in Andhra Pradesh, we have 8.5 million women in the rural areas who are organized into self-help groups. And in our project area, we are dealing with 2 million women. They are really the leaders of this transformation. And this investment in women collectives is about 25 years old. And the reason we are able to scale up is because women are behind this. Then our extension system is teaching by doing and learning by doing. So we have best practicing farmers as trainers. So when I started the project, I had 900 such leaders. Now we have got 10,000 community resource persons. We call them as community resource persons. So they're all best practicing farmers. And because they are the ones who are leading the knowledge transfer, they have greater credibility with the farmers. And this is again very important, long-term hand-holding. So we don't give financial incentive, but we provide technical support to the farmers during the transition. So we estimate about 8, 10, 12 years it takes to change the whole village. So we'll invest in our human resource and transferring technical knowledge to them till the transformation is completed. So this is really our strength, that it's not some artificial inducements, but real good hand holding and by the farmers themselves. We have started a global academy for agroecology research and learning. We got a grant of 20 million euros from government of Germany. Government of AP has provided land, buildings, and budget. We are doing a number of things with that. I just want to, just 1 or 2 minutes, is we've started a course called Farmer Scientist course. So it's a 4-year course leading to a bachelor's degree in natural farming. And the best part of it is 75% of the credits are for field work and 25% is for classroom sessions. So this farmer scientist, in order to graduate, she should earn 25,000 rupees per month, means 3 to 5 times her neighbors. Then she conducts experiments on the plot relevant to the area, but she's also responsible for training other farmers and over 4 years motivating, hand-holding 50 other farmers to become A-grade farmers. And with this, A-grade farmers, they prepare plans to convert the village into a climate resilient village. And of course, they have to pass the exam. But that's not the main thing. Main thing is that they should apply these lessons to their own field, be successful, and demonstrate to others that climate resilience can happen like this. And so this is some shots. So we had delegates from about 45 countries visiting us. And I'll again request okay, when you can download my video to play this because it's very, very important. This slide captures that. We believe that 365 days green cover and crop diversity is the best way of cooling the planet naturally. And this is a real life story. We were helped by an Australian microbiologist who captured this in April 2024. The soil surface temperature was around 70 degrees centigrade in the conventional because it was a fallow land. Whereas in a 365 days green cover field, the temperature was 30 degrees centigrade. So we are very keen to take up natural farming on this scale because apart from food and nutrition security, resilience to climate change, I believe very strongly that this is the best way, quickest way, and one which has so many benefits in the transition process for cooling the planet. So I'll stop here and